Hi, I'm going to cover a lot of different topics in this video, and I'm going to start with the difference between a treat and a reward. A puppy should never be given a treat. It should only be given a reward. A treat is like giving your child candy, and a reward is for them perhaps getting their allowance for doing the chores. So the only time your puppy gets something to eat other than its nutritionally balanced life abundance food is when your puppy has followed a command. And a puppy has about a 3-second recollection to understand why they were rewarded or why they were disciplined. Therefore, if you ask your puppy to follow a command, please make sure that you have a reward in your pocket so that you can give your puppy a very quick reward. Always break off the smallest little piece you can of this reward. Your puppy doesn't understand the difference between a small treat or a reward and a big one. So get away with giving the smallest piece that you can so that you can give repetitious rewards as you're training your puppy. Many times people ask, should I give my puppy a reward for going potty outside? Your puppy does not understand that it was given a reward for going potty outside. It just understands it was given a reward for going potty. Therefore, I would recommend that you praise your puppy, but that you don't give a food reward. Otherwise, your puppy may start pottying in the house hoping to get that same reward. Another thing I would like to cover is the collar on your puppy. You should never leave your collar on the puppy while it's in the crate. That is considered to be hazardous. There have been incidences where puppies have gotten the buckle caught on the gate and strangled themselves. So please remove the collar before you put your puppy in. When you're fitting the collar on your puppy, you want to be able to fit 2 fingers between the collar and the puppy's neck. And you want to not be able to pull it off over the puppy's head. You're going to need to check this about once a week because your puppy's going to grow very quickly and that collar is going to get tight. I also would like to talk about grooming and bathing your puppy. People ask, how often should I bathe my puppy? That is a personal preference. I personally like to bathe my dogs once a week. However, I think the average is probably more like once a month. Your puppy is going to probably need its first haircut between 5 and 6 months of age. And once those regular haircuts start, they'll go in every 6 to 8 weeks. So your puppy will be bathed each time there. So some people just bathe once in between. It really depends on a personal preference. It is your job to start preparing your puppy for its first grooming appointment, which means getting it used to being brushed. And this is a daily exercise. All puppies bite at the brush and don't seem to enjoy it very much in the beginning. So what you want to do is first get your puppy tired, and then as your puppy is laying on your lap, start massaging your puppy, and your puppy will very much enjoy this. And then take one brush and one hand, massage with one, brush with the other, and start getting your puppy used to it that way. Remember to brush the ears and the tail and the legs because those are places people forget, and many times puppies become sensitive about that. You want to use your slicker brush to brush your puppy and then follow up with using a metal comb. The slicker brush does not, the bristles are very short and therefore doesn't always reach down near the skin and brush out. So you can brush your puppy, it looks like it's been freshly brushed, but following up with a metal comb will find any tangles that are forming. And you can work on a tangle and get it out. Once that tangle becomes a mat, it's like taking bubble gum, squishing it in your hair, and then sleeping on it. The only remedy is to cut it out or to shave that area. So to avoid that, make sure that you are following up with the metal comb after the slicker brush daily. When your puppy is relaxing on your lap, make sure to massage every toe on every foot every day. What you're doing is desensitizing your puppy to allowing you to be able to do things with its feet. I will have clipped your puppy's nails the day before it leaves me, and it won't need its nails clipped again for another month. So that's not something that is done often enough for your puppy to become used to it. So by massaging the toes, you're preparing that puppy for its next nail clipping. You're also preparing that puppy for its first grooming appointment because the hair between the toes grows and the groomer is going to be able to need to trim that hair. When you give your puppy a bath, you want to use a tearless puppy shampoo. You want to bathe downward over the ears or pin the ears next to the head so that you don't get water in the ears. You don't fill the bathtub up with water. You put the puppy in, saturate the puppy with water, lather him up, rinse him off. You always want to use a tearless puppy shampoo or even Johnson's baby shampoo, even on an adult dog. That way you can bathe as often as you like without drying out the coat, and you also will never irritate your dog's eyes. Now, after a bath, I recommend that you do a poof of ear powder in each ear. It's very likely that you've gotten some water in the dog's ears, and dogs with long ears have a higher incidence of ear infections, and the biggest culprit being we humans get water in their ears when we bathe them. By using the ear powder, it will dry out any added moisture. You also want to peek in your dog's ears every day so that you know what a healthy ear looks like. And therefore, when you see any changes, such as redness or a waxy buildup or a foul odor, that is the first sign that your puppy is getting an ear infection, and you want to address that in the early stages rather than once they have a full-blown ear infection. 2 or 3 days after you get your puppy is going to be feeling quite at home with you, and your puppy is going to get very mouthy. And what I mean by that is wanting to bite and chew on everything. And if you have small children, the puppy typically goes after the smallest children because that's the closest size as a playmate. This is not a sign that your puppy is aggressive, but it is a sign that your puppy wants to play, and your puppy only knows one way to play. If you've ever seen puppies play, it is rather aggressive looking. It's a lot of chasing and tackling and tumbling and squealing and biting. And without another puppy to play with, your puppy is going to try to play with humans that way. You have a twofold job. One, you have to teach your puppy that he or she cannot treat you like another puppy. However, you do have to come up with ways for your puppy to expend all that puppy energy that are fun and educational. When your puppy nips and bites at you, or this is also the same if your puppy is nipping, chewing on the edge of the counter or the chair or the rug, you need to unhook its teeth, squeeze the muzzle closed very firmly, coupled with a very loud negative sound. And then you need to redirect the puppy to something that is appropriate, like another chew toy. However, that chew toy doesn't play back like you do, so it's very likely that when you reprimand your puppy that way, your puppy's going to go back to doing the same activity that caused him to be reprimanded in the first place. I would recommend your puppy 3 times in a row if need be. If the puppy goes back to it a 4th time, it is time to change the scenery, time to change the focus. Take your puppy into another room, get out some other toys, take him out for a walk, something so that it's not so negative. There are some activities that kids can do with the dogs to help keep the sharp little teeth and claws away from the children's skin. You can take an empty 1-gallon plastic milk jug and tie a rope to it and allow the children to drag that around. You can also put a few pebbles in that milk jug if it has a nice tight screw-on lid and drag it around. You can also roll a ball only 2 or 3 feet from the puppy to start, and teach the puppy to start retrieving that ball and bringing it back. That's great exercise coupled with learning commands such as come and drop it and so forth. The best thing that you can possibly do for your puppy is to find it a daily play date. And I know that that isn't realistic for a lot of families, but you will find that the days your puppy gets to play for 30 or 60 minutes with another dog or puppy, that you will have a sweet, calm, docile puppy the rest of the day. The days that your puppy does not get appropriate exercise, you're going to have a little furry piranha on legs. Now, going for walks is a nice exercise, but your puppy needs to also have fun. If you can find another puppy or young dog in your neighborhood that you know is healthy and vaccinated, and allow them to play together, they will learn things that humans cannot teach a puppy or cannot teach them very quickly. For instance, an older dog, when the puppy is obnoxiously biting underneath the belly, biting the legs, pulling on the tail, that older dog is going to spin around, pin that puppy to the ground, and growl in its face. This is something that you need to allow to happen because that senior dog is teaching that puppy appropriate manners. You don't just get in my face or bite at me. You need to ask first. Now, with another puppy, the 2 puppies playing together, what they learn there is when a puppy bites the other puppy too hard in play, the puppy that was bitten is going to spin around, bite that puppy back and tell him, "Hey, Buster, lighten up. Don't bite so hard." And all of this is part of the process of your puppy learning to soften its mouth. It needs to learn how hard is too hard. Now, I know that you've probably heard that your puppy needs to be isolated from areas of high traffic of unknown dogs until it has finished its vaccination series at 4 months of age. And there is a lot of truth to that. You do want to avoid dog parks, PetSmart, the floor at your vet. That's probably the worst place. But it also is a very critical socialization period. Therefore, you need to get your puppy together as often as possible with other dogs that you know are healthy and vaccinated. Another thing that I would like to cover is dogs jumping on you. Dogs walk over, or puppies will walk over and put their front paws up on your leg to get your attention. And it's very cute and it's very innocent. However, if you pick up your puppy or you pet your puppy when it puts its paws on you, you are rewarding your puppy for jumping. And that is the beginning stages of teaching your dog to jump on people to get attention. Therefore, anytime your puppy puts its paws up on you, you need to do a brisk movement of your leg to knock that puppy over. I'm not saying you should kick your puppy across the room, but you should knock your puppy over so that it is a very negative consequence for jumping on you. Another thing I would like to cover is riding in a car. Puppies do not typically ride in a car well in the beginning. It takes some conditioning. And as I talked about in the very first video about the puppy riding on someone's lap in the back seat, I recommend that you do this every day for the first 3 weeks you receive your puppy, and take your puppy for a 1 to 5 minute car ride. It's not the motion that makes your puppy sick, it's the anxiety about where are we going, what is happening. Many times their trips consist of going to the vet, which might not be quite so pleasant. So what you need to do is to teach your puppy that going for a ride in the car means, hey, I don't get left at home, I get to stay with mom or dad, and it's a short ride, not enough time for the puppy to build up enough anxiety to vomit, not enough time for the puppy to get bored. You pull back in your driveway, give your puppy a reward, and get out of the car. You will notice 4 or 5 days into this that the puppy can't wait to get in the car and go for that ride. This is an activity that if you don't practice, you will miss the window and you will have an older dog that does vomit every time you put them in the car. I also wanted to discuss separation anxiety. Even if you are home during the day, your puppy should spend a 3-hour stretch in the crate, out of sight, out of mind. There are a couple reasons for this. Your puppy's length of time it can hold it in the crate when you get it at 2 months of age is 3 hours. The following month, you should be able to increase that to 4 hours, but only if your puppy has practiced holding it for 3 hours, because it is a muscle that they have to build up. Secondly, your puppy needs to learn to entertain itself. So by spending 3 hours in the crate each day away from you, your puppy is learning to spend time alone and be happy in his or her own skin. One other thing I would like to mention is that your puppy will be due for vaccines 3 to 4 weeks after you receive your puppy, and then another 3 to 4 weeks after that. Please take that shot and deworming record to that first vet visit with you in the first 5 days, and your vet will look at the dates and tell you when you need to schedule your next visit. If you are getting a puppy in the summertime months between, let's say, Easter and Thanksgiving, your puppy will need a flea and tick preventative. You can talk to your vet about what brand, and your puppy will also be prescribed a heartworm preventative by your vet. I hope that I have answered all of your questions. Please make notes of any that you still have and send them to me via email, and I will address them before you come for your puppy. Thank you very much.